There are a number of different ways to traumatize, to split the mind of the child.
Max Spiers, a British conspiracy theorist, died on a sofa in Warsaw, Poland in July 2016. How he died is still a mystery. Max was obsessed by conspiracies. But was something darker going on in his life?
Sometimes he would need someone to sit with him, literally hold his hand, and just be with him for, a couple of hours. And he would not want to be left. He had a very little boy side to him.
One night, a boy was sleeping and he saw light beaming through his window.
They used to look for flying saucers out the window. My dad lived in Broadstairs over the ocean, and he bought beautiful, the big binoculars, and they used to look together.
He looked up and he caught a glance of a flying saucer. The mountain, he got up and went to look what he saw.
There was this program called Monkey Magic when he was a little boy. He would imagine himself to be Tripitaka, who had the Buddhist power, and he saw himself as that. So he was showing interest in otherworldly stuff.
The women coming out were people, but I noticed they had a sort of V shape on the neck. I ran home to tell anyone. Next morning, I found out they were from this earth, that they had been bitten by some sort of creature.
I remember seeing a lot of witches. I would be taken out of my bed. I'd sort of float up above my bed, through the roof of the house, up further and further, and then I'd go through a set of black clouds.
And when they were bitten, they were brainwashed.
So he just would make me laugh all the time. We would play little games.
There was a fatherly bit to him, wasn't there?
Yes, there was definitely a fatherly, absolutely a protector of me. He was absolutely outstanding to me. Me and him were incredibly close. I mainly think about him the most when I'm by myself. Actually, that's kind of one of the hardest things, is when I'm alone. He was very, very charismatic. He wouldn't like hide his beliefs. He would try and put it out there. It's one of the main things I really loved about him.
People were really fond of Max. He always seemed to leave an impression. Miles first met Max at a Super Soldier conference in Nevada, and they became good friends.
Well, I do interviews, and rather than setting it all up and having tripods over the place, when I built this place, I decided to put this lighting grid on it. I can make it do different colours.
Do you ever have a disco in here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Let's think of some horrible ailment that you might have. Backache, yeah?
Yeah, backache.
It won't take a second.
Is it so? Forewarned is forearmed, Miles. What's going to happen?
Well, what will happen is you will feel a sensation. Program running.
Soft start.
It's actually quite expensive.
Whoa! Whoa! Ow! That one's stronger. Oh my God, that's really strong. I can see my skin moving.
Yeah.
Is it helping you back?
No, I can't feel any change in my back.
What's actually happening is that your hair is progressively turning into a curly redhead.
Perfect. Ow! I've always wanted to be a curly redhead. I'm going to put these down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Max's friends who shared his beliefs definitely read more than others into Max's thoughts and behaviours, particularly when he lost control.
Max, on one level, is an extremely intelligent, erudite, fun guy, in love, loves the birds, great guy. Make no mistake about it, Max was no saint. He did some recreational drugs, he drank like hell, and he had a good time. Now, when I met him in Canterbury, we were being tracked by at least 4 pairs of agents. But there was one particular guy who was making a big show of walking around the place. And he actually did a thing called trigger Max. It was one of the things, this is the whole point about these children, is that you can program a person's personality.
So they behave in different ways according to what you
want
them to do?
Yes, and with a trigger word, which is what's called a trigger word, bingo, they will switch.
Miles is suggesting here that Max, if I've got this right, could be switched on and off into different states by unknown people. He even goes on to suggest
one of the signatures of programming is addictive behaviours.
What's Max's relationship been with drugs?
So he did something, jumped over something, perfectly, wasn't drunk, nothing, jumped over something, managed to land awkwardly and got a crack in his pelvis, went to hospital in America, and they gave him one of those powerful drugs.
Oxycontin?
Either Oxycontin or it might have been Percocet, and it created a really big problem. Really big problem.
Oxycontin and Percocet are very common prescription opiates used in the States, and overprescribing of this kind of drug has caused a big rise in heroin addicts in America. Did he experiment?
He went all the way down to using heroin.
To heroin, yeah.
Only once he couldn't get the pills anymore. There were a couple of times that he had relapses, and he came here, was as clean as a whistle, absolutely nothing wrong with him at all. But that leads us to the point of when he went to Poland and perhaps he was out of his depth. Did he or didn't he relapse? I don't know.
Max had sought help for his addiction in the past, but the way that Miles talks about it, that his addiction was actually controlled by extraterrestrial forces, is pretty extreme.
It's called trauma-induced mind control. You put the individual into a state of trauma, so their normal personality basically wants to get out of that trauma. It wants to kill the pain. And once that happens, bingo, you've shattered the individual's personality, and then the person who's done that can control that. And you can have a couple of hundred different personalities.
Well, that just sounds like addiction though, but you've given it a face.
No, that's why it's the trauma which causes you to go for the addiction, to get rid of the trauma.
I wonder if that's not quite a dangerous explanation for addiction. Could it stop somebody from getting the help that they need? Take a look at this film. It was recorded apparently 4 days before Max died in Poland. The interviewer is a man called Alex Berdovich. He knew Max and also Monica very well.
Hi, today we are with Max Spiers again, and we are recording only the voice because we don't have a good place to record the camera.
This appears to be the last interview ever recorded with Max. I think it's important, not because of what Max says, but how he says it.
First letter A, last letter O, so we have alpha to the omega.
Yes.
So we have we have a full controlling system by, I just felt a surge of positive energy helping me out there when I said that, A to the O.
Yeah, it sounds really high.
He sounds like he has a kind of like dry mouth as well.
Like tacky.
Mm. And his thoughts in general seem really confused.
This is an hour and 16 minutes long.
You look like being attacked now.
I feel like this part here is almost being like something's going like this to my throat. To my head.
You can hear this?
Heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah, those words.
It's like a woman's voice going, in the background. Okay, there's another sign that says, after about 30 minutes, Max almost fell asleep. So we decided to take a break, let him jump on the trampoline to refresh for a few minutes, and start the interview from the beginning. We recorded his jumping.
We had kind of removal of your consciousness for some time. You felt bad, but now you are back, yeah?
Yes.
So what did you feel, what happened? Please explain.
I think I disassociated, and then basically that's what happened.
So the first topic, let's
I'm
talk
quite
about...
tired, so just letting you know.
He was in such a dreadful state, we can't film this guy. But you can hear him. You can hear him, his throat failing and gurgling, and it's horrendous.
My face feels on fire.
His face feels on fire.
Okay, so thank you for the interview, for sharing this difficult stuff.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thanks.
I mean that. Thank you.
I think he sounds as if he's got drugs in his system, no question in my mind. And I can't believe that anybody would release an interview like that.
After he died as well, to publish it?
Yeah.
So 3 days after he died, I think they put
2 or 3 days after. My belief is that that was probably, I think he was dying in that. I think he was absolutely dying, which is another reason why I won't listen to it. I think that was the end.
Alex Berdovich doesn't want to talk to us about Max at all, but I'm hoping Monica Duval can help shed some light on Max's last few days. We know she was there when he died.
Very welcome.
Were those some of the final words of Max Spiers? And will any of the people who were last with him break their silence?